Good evening, everybody, and I welcome you very specially to the day two of the Africa ELTA Female Mentoring Leadership Program. It was a very beautiful one yesterday. Yesterday was the day one, and today is day two. We have interesting presentations lined up for you from our mentees who have, been trained for the past 4 months to do this. And I can tell you that they are well prepared for this. So without wasting much of your time, our very first presenter for tonight is Aisha, and Aisha is here. But before we continue with Aisha, we are going to read her bio, and I would like to hand over to Amira right now to read her bio. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Amira.
Thank you very much, Blessing. And I'm very glad to be introducing Aisha. Aisha is actually one of our mentees from Nigeria in this program this year, and her mentor is Anastasia Khawaja. She is not here today, but Anastasia has been working hard with Aisha over the past few months to prepare her presentation. And I'm going to introduce Aisha today on behalf of Anastasia. Aisha is an educator with 15 years of experience. She holds degree in English education and educational administration and planning. She is also an intern executive of the Nigerian Teachers Association. And happens to be her birthday as well. Aisha, over to you. You have 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, we are going to open the
Okay.
questions and answers. Best of luck.
Now,
Did you lose Aisha?
Aisha, if you can hear us, I think you just froze. Your screen just froze. Okay, I think you're coming back now. So we've lost whatever you have
okay.
said in the past few seconds. So you can please repeat what you've said. Thank you.
I was asking if you could see my screen.
Not yet. We can see you, but we can't see your screen yet.
Okay. How about now?
Yes, it's coming up. It's loading.
Okay. All right.
Yes, we can see your screen.
That's good. All right. Is it okay?
Yes, perfect. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening. Can I start?
Yes, please
All
go
right.
ahead. Thank you.
Good,
Yes.
all right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jinwa Muhammad. I've been introduced by artificial intelligence enabled pronunciation application on student performance, focusing on student nurses. Focusing on student nurses. Here you can see a picture of a student climbing a ladder in class. Now the question is, why did the student bring a ladder to class? You can type your responses in the chat. You can type your responses in the chat. Okay.
Can you see the chats? Someone says because she's short. Aisha, are you still there? Okay, let's keep the responses coming. Another one says to find a book. Someone says perhaps to use it as a scaffold to get information. Someone says to get something above their height. I think we lost Aisha there. Okay. Someone says get some natural lights. She wants to take books to see outside through the window. Lovely comments coming in. We lost that slide and we've lost Aisha, but let's give her some time to join again. One of the challenges in Africa is network. You all would agree. Yes. Okay.
Hello, I've joined again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Brilliant. If you could,
Okay, let me try. Let me share the slide once
thank
more.
you very much.
Okay, I hope you can see the slide.
Not yet.
How about
Yes,
now?
coming up. Yes, we can see your slide
Okay,
now.
all right. Okay, that's good. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
I had to switch to another network swiftly. So I'll continue from where I stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, to the students aim to reach her potentials, aim to reach her potentials.
Mm-hmm.
Introduction. Background, sorry. Nursing. As students, as nurses, the nurses interact with patients, so it is important they communicate effectively in order to render effective nursing care. And for our students who are in the process of who are being trained to be professional nurses, they need to be equipped with all the communication skills that is necessary for them to acquire effective communication skills. Traditional methods such as teaching a lecture method, which is mostly employed or used in tertiary institutions, especially Nigerian tertiary institution, public tertiary institutions, where you find out that you teach, the class size is just large, over 100 students. So mostly the lecture method is the method that is used. The lecture method is lecturer-centered method. It focuses on the lecturer. The teacher talk time is longer, and students listen almost all through the class until the period, until when given long into at the end of the lesson. Historical focus on structure and syntax has contributed to. Yes, it has, because years back, the concentration or the focus was on syntax and structure, and then pronunciation was just seen as a secondary to them. AI-enabled pronunciation application has brought a solution in the sense that it focuses on the student and aims to provide solution to the problem faced due to the traditional teaching method. So there is limited research on the app effectiveness, and there's need to explore students' attitude towards the application. What are AI-enabled applications? It's simple. AI-enabled application are applications that depend on traditional human-driven methods, with AI assisting in specific areas. they are not complex, and they they are human driven. So in this study, the AI-enabled application, the term has been operationalized. It is the apps that provide structured learning experiences without necessarily incorporating advanced AI technologies like voice recognition or feedback system. Examples, we have American English pronunciation. We have Learn English Sounds Right by the British Council, SpeechLane, etc. Benefits of the applications on pronunciation training. These applications offer a promising solution because they aim to tackle the problem or overcome the problem faced by the traditional methods. They are ideal for teaching large class, where in a large class, the lecturer or teacher finds it difficult to attend to the needs of the individual student, but AI the applications offer such services, assist in those ways. And they also give room for practice, rehearsals. Practice in the class, even after school, students get to practice. In my class, I decided to divide them into groups and try to select group leaders so that the group discussions will be moderated by the group leaders. And in the class, because I am the moderator and also the motivator, I go around to do that. And it enhances collaborative learning, and peer feedback is done, and they accept what is given, the feedback given to by their mates instead of their classmates, far better than the ones by the teachers, because they are their peers. They understand them a bit better. And potential to enhance language learning in making it student-centered. Yes, it is student-centered because it has that potential, because all the the benefits I've mentioned earlier and many more are centered on the student. So they offer, they're student-centered. Now, challenges faced by nursing students due to poor pronunciation. There's poor listening comprehension, because they find it difficult to differentiate similar sounding words. At times, they do not get to comprehend the listening comprehension passages, difficulties speaking fluently, trying to squeeze through the barrier makes it difficult for them to speak fluently, and limited vocabulary acquisition, peer assessment, poor assessment performance. Yes, all these and many more challenges lead to poor assessment performance, which you find out that students can do better if they could overcome the challenge of poor pronunciation. And it increases stress because they try to see that they meet up with the school activities, the learning activities, and in trying to do that, they are being pulled back by the challenges, especially the poor pronunciation when it comes to the English language learning, then poor emotional impact. Yes, yeah. Also, that is also another impact, and they isolate themselves from their mates in trying to see that they are not being made fun of. Now, my question here is, please type in what more challenges do you think nursing students can face or do face due to poor pronunciation? You can type in the responses. I'm sorry, I have to go further because I have challenge viewing the chat box. Why is this study important? It enhances it enhances the students' pronunciation accuracy and encourage student-centered learning. The outcome of the program or the study, sorry, would do that. Also promotes sorry. It will also promote interdisciplinary learning and equip interdisciplinary learning and equip nursing and language instructors with evidence-based strategies. It will also encourage institutions to adopt innovative technological approach, and also would also give confidence to those who feel things like this, like the applications cannot be incorporated in large classes and institutions like us here in Nigeria. Research gap, lack of empirical evidence examining the effectiveness of pronunciation tools, specifically within the context of nursing, and there's need to explore nursing students' attitude towards the application. Now, the research questions are two, and they are as follows. What is the effect of AI-enabled pronunciation application on the students' pronunciation accuracy, and also to what is the attitude of the students? Data
Okay, I would
collection.
like to, sorry to interrupt, just to remind you that you have less than 4 minutes to the end of your presentation, Aisha. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Sorry, thank you for that. The reminder. Yes, the method of data methodology. Now, the methodology is what is involved in the process is the research design, which is the quasi-experimental design, which entails the pre-test and a post-test, and also the tool that will be used for the program or the study, sorry, is Learn English Sounds Right by the British Council, where we have all sample size of 114 out of 161 students using Taro and Mani, and then sampling technique is a multi-stage sampling technique. Data collection process, where for research question 1, there's the pre-test which has already been given to the students and the application is in use. Then after that, we have the post-test and questionnaire to survey their attitudes. Then what are the expected outcomes? The expected outcome, number 1, is to improve their pronunciation accuracy and then expose them to AI-enhanced pronunciation after exposing them, to AI pronunciation application, and enhance phonetic awareness, and also we expect to see positive attitude towards their AI application by the students. Conclusion. This paper highlights the potential of AI-enabled pronunciation applications in bridging the gap between traditional language instruction and modern technological approaches. Also explores possibilities of improved pronunciation proficiency among students and other nursing students and other beneficiaries. Also recommends AI pronunciation apps to enhance academic performance. Thank you for listening.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much, Aisha, for that beautiful presentation. And despite your network challenges, you had the resilience to pull through. Thank you very much. Yes, and we've got some interesting discussions ongoing in the chat. But I'll just take one question just to save time and give room to the other four presenters that we have for tonight. Someone is asking, which AI tool do you use in your class? You know, which AI tool do you use? Have you used any AI tool? If you have, which one do you
Yes.
use? Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm using it because the research is in progress. We're using Learn English Sounds Right by the British Council. And the reason why I've decided to choose after researching on the various applications is because Learn English Sounds Right by the British Council is user friendly. And after the initial installation of the application, the students do not require data to practice on their own.
Oh, interesting, interesting. So thank you very much for that response, Miriam. We have appreciation going on. Yeah, thank you saying
Thank
that.
you.
Yes, they've
I
enjoyed your
apologize for the
presentation.
network issues.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's understandable. And I also apologize that my video is turned off. Yes, because I'm also having power issues right now. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to move on to the next presenter, who is Miriam Sawadogo. Miriam, if you were here, I would appreciate that you switch on your video. Thank you. And I'm going to be reading Miriam's bio because I happen to be Miriam's mentor. Yes, in this program. So I'm Blessing Apum and I'm from Nigeria. And I'm also a product of the Africa ELTA Female Leadership Mentoring Program. I'm always very proud to say that. Yes, and now I'm a mentor for the second time. Yes, in this program, and I'm also happy to serve in the Africa ELTA board as the professional development coordinator. Thank you very much, everyone. So right now, I'm going to be introducing Miriam. Miriam Sawadogo is a certified teacher of Burkina Faso. She has been teaching for 11 years now, and she is committed in fighting against gender based violence. She is a member of Burkina English Teachers Association. Yes, I'm very proud of Miriam. Miriam has been very strong, very dedicated to this cause despite her many challenges. I wouldn't want to say so much. I would like Miriam to go ahead with her presentation. Then you will learn a little bit more about Miriam and her context. Thank you. Over to you, Miriam.
Good afternoon. Hello. Can I start to share my screen?
Please go ahead. Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. If you can put it on slideshow, that would be great. If not, please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, dear ELTA Africa members. Good evening, my dear mentor Blessing. I am Mariam Sawadogo from Burkina Faso. As my mentor has already introduced me, I am an English teacher of Lycée Municipal de Coupela. And my topic this evening is fostering resilience through English language teaching. Why I have chosen this topic? I have chosen this topic because I have living in a crisis affected area. My country is going through crisis, And we all know that where there is crisis, sometimes things are not easy. Mental health is very important as far as teaching and learning are concerned. So that's why I have chosen the topic fostering resilience through English language teaching. And before I start, I will tell you that this picture is showing the resilience. It is a picture which shows resilience. We see that the man is rolling the stone,
Mariam,
and he
I'm
will
sorry
roll.
to interrupt you. Can you please put it on a slideshow?
Can you see now? Hello?
Yes, we see the slide, but it's not on a slideshow.
Is it all right now?
No, it's still not on slideshow. If you have difficulty doing that, I think Amira, to save her time, Miriam should just go ahead. Are you able to locate slideshow?
Is it okay?
If you look at the bottom of the screen in the orange next to the slider on your right side, there's something that looks like a screen. That's the slide that puts you into slideshow mode. Can you see that?
It's like a little trophy just beside the minus.
See, Mariam.
Mariam,
Hello?
Yeah, if you can't find it, you can go ahead just for the sake of time.
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the man is, I was telling that the man is rolling the stone, and when he will arrive at the top of the mountain, the stone will fall down and he will have to restart. And just to tell that life is a continuous fight, life is a continuous struggle. Whatever the situation in which we are, we have to remain and we have to stay strong. So here is the outline, definition, strategy used to foster resilience in my community, impact on resilience on education, and conclusion. As introduction, what is resilience? For me, resilience is the ability a human being has to face life difficulties, the ability a human has to accept the condition in which he or she is and to overcome the life problems. So what strategies are used to foster resilience in my community? I use 5 strategies to foster resilience in my community. And as the first strategy, I use discussions And when I conduct a discussion activity in my class, I divide the class into small group of 5 or 4 students, and I give them the topic and I give them a certain number of time to discuss. And after discussing, they try to collect the ideas they have found, and I listen to them. And at the end, I report the good ideas found on the board. And when they are conducting the activity, they choose a reporter and a timekeeper, and it is the reporter who is in charge of reporting the different ideas found. And I also use stories to foster resilience in my community. And as an example of story, I use story of the donkey and the farmer to show that whatever situation we face in life, we have to remain strong, we have to be positive, we have to go forward. And I also use games, and an example of game that I use is a game calling Rebound. The game is a game where we use balloons and a flexible stick, and they try to press the balloons, and the balloons will take their shape, their original shapes, to say, just to tell that we must take our original shapes as before, despite what we are living. And when they finish to practice the game, I put students in pair. Some sit on the floor and some on the desk and some face to face. And I allow them to share sorrows or difficulty they have faced in life, and they have succeeded to rebound from. And it is too emotional. It is very interesting because after sharing, everyone, after sharing their experiences, they feel free, they feel happy, and it is funny, and they are very happy to practice this game because it enables them to share with other people their sorrows, their difficulties, and it is an occasion for them to notice that every human being has problems, and we have to be strong to go forward despite what we are living. And I also use text, and the texts are related to the curricula, and they read the text, they read it silently, and they answer some comprehension questions. And I also use role playing. As we know, in crisis situation, it happens that some learners join the classes at the middle of the year, and integration is not easy. And we practice role playing to prepare our students in case this happens, so that they are ready to welcome the newcomers, and make them sure that they are within they are between their brother and sister, and they can feel free, they can count on them, they can trust on them, and they are welcome in our community. So what is the impact of resilience on my community? Resilience has many impact on my community, and as the first impact, we have active commitment of learners. As you know, my country is using English as a foreign language, so it means that learners are not so motivated to practice the English language. But since the activities conducting in the class interest them, they are committed to learn, they show that they can practice English and English interests them. They are engaged in teaching and learning processes. And there is also the improvement of learning skills. Their skills are being improved since they have started to practice these strategies, learning skills, listening skills, speaking skills, and writing skills. And they have also improved their critical thinking skills, and this is very nice. And we have also the development of the teacher well-being and motivation. As a teacher, it is not easy to enter in a class and speak alone and leave the class. So the fact that learners has shown commitment to my teaching, it's a great satisfaction for me. And for the well-being I myself, I have to show that I am resilient, I am positive before fostering my learners' resilience. And this is the positive point of fostering resilience. And where I am motivated to go forward because my learners are committed and I can see progress in as far as their skills are concerned. And we have a decrease of the failure rate and school abandonment, as I have seen to encourage them, to motivate them. I can see that the success rate has been increased, and those intended to give up studies have changed their mindset, and they are motivated to continue their studies. And I have succeeded to motivate girls in my classes. The number of the girls is higher, quite higher than the one of boys. And I used to tell them girls are as intelligent as boys and even more intelligent than boys. And this has contributed to give the trust, to their trust, they have found their trust, they are confident, and they have started to give the best of them, and the results are quite clear. Here are pictures. Here, the first picture, it is the team of the role playing. Here is the chief, and here is a student, and here is a student. This is the facilitator, and here is the moderator, and I am the newcomer who will try to integrate the class. And here are the other students who have drawn flowers to welcome me, to tell me that I am among my brothers and sisters, and I can count on them. Whatever the situation is, they are with me, and this is very nice. And here is a picture with my learners, and we can see that they have shining faces to show that whatever the situation is, we are positive and we will be positive. Nobody can discourage us. We are every time positive and we will move forward, and we have a trust, we have the hope that one day we shall overcome what we are facing right now. As a conclusion, I found these quotes: if you feel pain, you are alive. If you feel others people pain, you are a human being. Leo Tolstoy, just to say that the fact of being able to feel pain, it shows that we are alive. And the fact of feeling others people pain shows that we are human beings. And this is very important because we have to share compassion to those who are in a difficult living condition. We have to show that we are human beings. And the second quote: if you can fly, then run. If you can run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Just to say that no matter how hard the situation is, we must be confident, we must trust in ourselves, and we must continue the fight till we win. We win or we win. And the last one, I would like to be known as an intelligent woman, a courageous woman, a loving woman, a woman who teaches by being Maya Angelou, to tell that I am not so intelligent as such, but I am asking God to give me enough intelligence to be used for the benefit of my learners. I am a courageous woman, I am loving woman, and I teach the way I am. Compassion is a good tool when you want to succeed. Once learners notice that the teacher cares for them, they give their best, they do their best to satisfy also the teacher. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Africa ELTA, for giving me the opportunity to share with you my presentation, and thank you very much for blessing my dear mentor who has done so many much for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mary. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. You can see the very lovely comments for you in the chats. Yes, thank you so much. I already said I wouldn't have so much in her bio to say, but when she talks, you will get to know who Miriam is. And I can tell that you all agree with me that she is very resilient, and she has also inspired us to be resilient. So thank you so much, Miriam, again for this beautiful and wonderful presentation tonight. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right, so very quickly we are going to move to the next presentation for today. Eunice. Yes, we are moving quickly to Eunice right now. If Eunice is here, I would appreciate that she puts a video up for us to see. And
Hello.
I'm going to call on Wendy Arnold.
Hello.
Yes.
It's Wendy
Hello.
here, and I am going to be sharing Eunice's PowerPoint.
Oh,
On
beautiful. Do you mind if I read your bio, Wendy, before you do that? Okay. Yes, so I'm going to introduce Wendy, then she will introduce Eunice to us. So Wendy Arnold has over 30 years experience in ELT, in course book writing, design, deliver teacher, trainer programs, and curriculum assessment design. She has mentored teachers from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Angola, and many, many more. Wendy has been a mentor on this program, even before I joined the program, and she has inspired so many of us on the group, and those who have worked closely with her can say so much about Wendy. It's a pleasure to have you, Wendy, and please introduce Eunice to us. Thank you. Over to you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Okay, well, Eunice is a very well experienced secondary teacher. She has 9 years teaching experience with 10 to 12 graders, years 10 to 12. She has a degree in English methodologies of English teaching. And her passion is to see people speak in English, which is why she selected debate as the context for her presentation. She's the coordinator for the ELTA female, and sorry, I don't know how to say this, Ouija, Eunice, you'll have to correct me, branch. So without much further ado, Eunice, you are on. I hope you are ready. Are you there?
Okay, I'm here, Wendy. Thank you very much. It has been quite a journey. It has been a pleasure working with you, and thank you so much for the support. And also, thank you for your support. Okay, so as Wendy has said, my name is Eunice Moishi. I'm going to present on the topic, the value of using mother tongue in the teaching of English as a foreign language. This is the overview of our presentation, introduction to context, our objectives, Bloom's taxonomy, teacher using mother tongue, students using mother tongue, and our conclusion. Our introduction. Mother tongue is the foundation on which all the languages are built. No wonder it provides a framework for understanding how language works. The context of this presentation is Angola, where the official language is Portuguese and has 46 languages, indigenous languages, with more than 30 Bantu languages. Angola borders with 2 French-speaking countries and 2 English-speaking countries, being Zambia and Namibia. Now, English, not only being a language spoken for far and wide, it has become very important for the private companies here in Angola. owned by the British, Americans, and Canadians, etc., etc. In short, we're talking about English for works. Besides, it's been important in the tourism sector, students that gain scholarship, and of course, for business pay for service. Our objectives. Using mother tongue reduces misunderstanding in teaching English. It shows how using the thinking language leads to high order thinking and a production of more complex English language. And here Bloom's taxonomy, showing low order thinking skills. Bloom states that language learning is more than memorization and understanding knowledge. Students need to be able to apply this knowledge so they can move into analysis, create, and evaluate. When students use the thinking language or mother tongue, they are able to do this without worrying about the structure of language and lack of vocabulary. And so the benefits of teacher using a mother tongue. Mother tongue has an important role in advancing from low to high order thinking. A teacher's instructions in mother tongue avoids misunderstanding, and the student's achievement improves using mother tongue. Students using mother tongue. The classroom involved in this lesson is of 35 students, 20 boys and 15 girls. The class was divided into 5 groups of 7 each, preparing the debate with the topic, the gender role in household chore. Do males have fair share in the domestic work? Now, our students, after reading the topic to them, we discovered that they had questions, or rather they didn't fully understand the topic. So we had to translate words to them in order to make them understand what they were going to do and give them instructions in Portuguese. And so we had to clarify gender, words gender, chose, which they were confusing with shoes, and the word household. Now, during the classroom debates, our students debated in Portuguese, being the mother tongue for Angola. They debated in Portuguese and they came up with a number of phrases to use in the debate. So some words that they came up with were: acredito que fizemos muito mais que as meninas, ou muitas vezes os homens não querem saber dos trabalhos domésticos, deixam tudo para as meninas. So they had to translate the Portuguese words from Portuguese to English in order for them to showcase the debate. Students debating language. Next, Wendy. Wendy, next. Okay. Okay, so this is how we set the groups into 5. The groups of 5 students between female and males. Thank you. Next slide, Wendy. So most of the times, males do not really. It's kind of a debate. They don't really help in the household chores, and this is to demonstrate that most of the times it is the ladies doing the chores and not the men. It is divided in between the men and the male and female chores. And next, please. Okay, so after the discussion, we had to collect, if I can use this word, the sentences that had been spoken in Portuguese into the sentences that were to translate them into English. So we had to first write the Portuguese words, and the whole class would help translate the words into English. Next slide, Wendy. Okay, now it was time for them to speak in English. Next slide, please. And this is how the male and female were presenting their words. Next slide, please. Okay, so in conclusion, we would love to state that complicated instructions given in mother tongue by teachers help to avoid misunderstanding. And the students' discussion in mother tongue in groups promotes high order thinking. And the students' debate arguments in English after mother tongue leads to more complicated use of language. And this is our finding in this research. It was a pleasure. I'm sorry I had to keep off camera because of our network here in Angola. It's very poor. Wouldn't have coincided. So thank you very much. I will wait for the question and answer session.
Yes, thank you so much, Eunice, for being on time. You really, really kept to the time and you gave us such a beautiful presentation. Yes, this is something that, most people are always concerned about. Using mother tongue, will it affect my child's spoken English? I know right here in Nigeria, it's one of the challenges that we have. Some people try to shun the use of mother tongue while others do promote. And thank you for enlightening us about how effective the use of mother tongue can even promote learning of English language. Thank you. Very insightful, and I trust that we've learned new things. I think I see a comment, Eunice. You didn't you have students who had some Angolan languages as their mother tongue? Someone is asking a question, Eunice. She says, didn't you have students who had didn't you have students who had some Angolan languages as their mother tongue?
Thank you very much. Angola, we do have students that have other languages, local Angolan languages as mother tongues, but it is really difficult because Portuguese has been a center of every learning and medium of instruction and working. So it is difficult to find somebody that doesn't speak Portuguese. We do have a number, but it has to be in the outskirts of Angola and not in town.
All right,
Thank
brilliant.
you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. And it's all praises and appreciation in the chat. Thank you. Great job. Very insightful, really important topic. Great presentation. One more. Somebody says, do you recommend using the mother tongue in lower level classes? Amira is asking, do you recommend using the mother tongue in lower level classes or in advanced classes, or it doesn't matter in your experience? Would you like to take that question quickly, please, Eunice?
Yes. I think I would recommend using mother tongue in lower grades because that is where it starts from. Mostly the grown-ups have learned a lot more of English during the course of studies in other grades, but the little ones are just starting, so it is a little bit difficult to engage them in a foreign language because we have English in Angola as a foreign language. So it is difficult to engage, especially that it is an obligation for the government that uh, children should study English. But most of the times we find that the pupils are sometimes not interested in studying English. So it is important to use mother tongue in order to motivate them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I have a comment to make. Seeing my colleague Kucha there just prompted me to think, how heated did the males get in the debate? Because they obviously thought that they were doing their bit for domestic chores. And they were convinced that they were doing their part. But did they get angry?
No, they did not get angry because it was a debate that was it was for learning purposes, so there was no need for them to get angry, but they were actually heated because at the end of the day, it is true that males don't participate in the shows, and most of them are Marxists, so they agree that males shouldn't do anything, but they've been trying their best.
Oh, I can see Kucha's eyeballs hitting the ceiling. Because I
Yes, such
am
a
sure,
controversial angle. She just
yeah,
brought
I
in.
I am sure that he does his chores because his wife would make him.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay. All right. Thank you, Wendy, for chipping that in, and thank you, Eunice, for your presentation again. We've had a very interesting time listening to you. Okay, and very quickly, we're going to be running to the next presenter, who is Jacqueline Dianga, and we've heard about Harry, Dr. Harry Kucha. Wendy has mentioned him more than twice, and I have the honor to introduce to you Dr. Harry Kucha, who happens to be my mentor. Yeah, he was my mentor in this program 2 years ago, and I can't thank him enough over and over and over again. He doesn't always want us to call him mentor, but I can't stop calling him mentor. In fact, right now I call him dad. So it's my honor to hand over to Dr. Harry Kucha, who is going to be introducing Jacqueline Dianga. Over to you, Dr. Harry.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a quick comment that men not doing household chores is not an African attribute. It's I don't know where it's come from. I think it's I don't know where that comes from, but men do house chores. I grew up in a typical traditional family and we did house chores and
Mhm,
everyone around me did that. So maybe our mothers should train their boys a bit more and not
mhm.
leave
Yes.
them to pick up an attitude that doesn't reflect our core values. Having said that, I'm happy and I would like to say thank you to Amira for giving me a very calm mentee for the first time since I joined the mentoring scheme. I've always had turbulent um, young women, and this time I had a really calm, collected um, colleague, Jacqueline Dianga, whom I'm very delighted to introduce as an English language educator who's dedicated to lifelong learning. Jacqueline is currently pursuing a master's in education in educational leadership and management at the Aga Khan University in Dar es Salaam. And she has a keen interest in teacher professional development, but as the theme of her presentation today would suggest, very much like the previous speaker, she is committed to multilingual education. So over to you, Jackie.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate so much. And I thank the Africa ELTA for this wonderful opportunity. It's been a learning curve. I have been blessed to have you as my mentor. So let me just share my screen. How can I move this? No, sure. Okay. Okay, thank you. My topic has been mentioned is enhancing engagement in rural contexts. Now, this is quite a bit related to the previous presenter, and I come from Kenya. In Kenya, we have multilingual learners. There are about 42 indigenous languages spoken in Kenya, and they are Kushitic, Nilotic, and Bantu. And in my own classroom, I have learners who speak about 4 languages. I have learners speaking Luo, which is the dominant language. About 90% of my learners are Luo, so they speak the Luo. And I have a few Luyas and a few Kisis. But even some of these learners who are non-Luos have somehow learned the language because it is a typical rural setup. So in our classrooms or in our school setting, English is the norm. English only instruction is norm. We are supposed to instruct learners purely in English. Swahili is acceptable as one of the subjects that can be instructed, but mostly all the other subjects except Swahili is instructed in English. And the syllabus also emphasizes critical analysis of literary texts in English. The texts are prescribed, and currently we have about 4 of them. The learners have to do at least 3, 2 of which are compulsory and 1 optional. So the language is already prescribed. It is English. And then the texts are also chosen for the learners. So they have very limited choice when it comes to choosing what text to study. This poses a potential challenge in their comprehension and literary analysis. So our challenge my challenge as an language and literature educator is to find out how we can enhance students' literary understanding in English. So the objective of this presentation 1 is to enhance deeper literary appreciation. I use one quote from Mandela, which says, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. But if you speak to a man in his language, it goes to the heart. So literary appreciation requires more than just the mastery of content. It requires learners to deeply appreciate the content that they interact with. So it also, one of the objectives is also to deepen comprehension and critical thinking. Another aim of teaching literature is to enhance learners' critical thinking and also to bridge cultural gaps and increase emotional connection with the text, as well as promote inclusivity and love for learning literature. So why multilingual approach? Why do I choose this kind of strategy in trying to teach my learners? Studies have shown that using one's own language or home language has some sense of pride and ownership. Learners are able to own the process of their learning. They're able to reflect on their identity or affirm their identity and deeply connect with their culture. Since language is a very integral part of culture, sometimes allowing them or integrating home languages into our classroom could offer learner more enriching learning experience. It also enhances comprehension. Using multilingual approach enables learners to engage with English medium curriculum even better. And also it allows for cognitive flexibility and also improves problem solving, because learners come to class when they already have some prior knowledge of language. So when we leverage on their full range of linguistic repertoire, we give them that freedom to think and not just limit them to one language. Another benefit is that multilingual approach increases participation as learning becomes more inclusive and every learner feels safe using their home language. But then there are certain challenges that have come as a result of using English only as a medium of instruction. One of them is language becomes, there is language barrier in the sense that the literary texts are figurative. They use figurative language, and this becomes a bit problematic for learners with limited English proficiency. Then there is also the issue of cognitive overload in the sense that when we expose learners to the literary text, one, their focus is on trying to understand the language of instruction, which is English, the second language. And at the same time, they are also trying to grasp the content, the subject matter of the literary elements that we expose them. And this heavily hinders or could potentially hinder their comprehension and retention. And using only one language as the medium of instruction in a context where learners already have other language range, then it seems to overlook the local languages. It doesn't give them room, and also lowers the confidence and participation level of learners, especially those who have limited English proficiency. Then another challenge is if we're only focusing on English, then it means we are not able to develop resources, language resources in our local languages. Yet maybe learners already could bring us so much from home. So over the holiday, I picked a group of learners about 14 to 18 years of age. The learners were from different schools, and I got a space and we tried to use this multilingual approach in our classroom. I picked one of the set texts, which is compulsory. I used Fathers of Nations. And in trying to expose this book, the book is in English. So I simplified the task by trying to segment the sections into very small chunks for the learners to really get it easy. So I divided the work like for plot, character, characterization, themes, and style. And then since the book is in English, we read it first in English, but as the reading stopped, we now allowed the learners to use their own languages. Here we use two languages alongside English. We use the Luo and Swahili, because basically in this class, all the learners were Luo. For the group that I use, all the learners were Luo, so they were able to speak the Luo, and they were also able to speak Swahili. So we use the two languages alongside English. And then sometimes we could translate. The learners were able also to switch between these two languages, actually among the three, English, Swahili, and the Luo. And also I encouraged the pair work or group work, put them in group of about 4, and allowed them to use any language of their choice as they brainstorm. And any little progress was encouraged. We discourage people laughing. I encourage learners to embrace the use of their local language so that even if somebody made a contribution in their mother tongue, they were not laughed at, but they were made to feel comfortable. Then there are certain things that I also use, some lesson activities by scaffolding the literary analysis, first introducing the elements of the text in local language, and then now proceeding to English. And as a teacher, I model local languages. At first, I found myself using English even as I was talking about multilingual, and the learners were a bit hesitant to use their mother tongue because they have been conditioned not to speak mother tongue in the presence of the teacher. So when I asked them they can use the Luo or Kiswahili, one of them marveled and say, Kiswahili? Like, they couldn't imagine that a teacher would allow them to speak English in a formal classroom setup because they are not allowed while in school. So when I first started, and I found myself also speaking a lot of English and maybe just using the Luo or Swahili when I felt learners didn't understand as a way of clarifying, then I realized they were not so active. When I shared this with my mentor, he asked me one critical question, like, which language do you yourself use? Then I told him I use a lot of English. I use more English than the local languages. Then he said, can you go back to class and then try to use that? And indeed, when I now began to use the same languages, the Swahili and the Luo, then learners got relaxed and they were able to activate their prior knowledge. They were able to contribute more to the discussions. I gave them guiding open-ended questions in English, but they were free to use any language between Swahili and the Luo before they transition into English through cross-group discussion collaborations, where I picked each member from the 4 groups that I had to present to the class now in English what they had discussed in their small groups. So they were able to develop some dual language glossaries and come up with the summaries in both English and Kiswahili. So my observation by using this strategy, one, is that it led to a more inclusive and cooperative learning experience for the learners. I could notice that learners' confidence was enhanced and they were able to pick more vocabularies. And I saw increased participation from learners who were previously reluctant, and they were able to connect literary ideas across languages. For example, in this work here that they shared, I asked them to, having read the text, and part of the theme was governance, poor governance, and we saw what the leaders do that constituted poor governance. I asked them to highlight qualities of a good leader in any language. So some of them were able to do this. They came up with this bilingual glossary here, where they, on this side, they wrote the attributes in the Luo, some did in Swahili, and then now translated this in English. So when this happened, I realized that when they highlighted, applies to characterization, where we require them to use adjectives to describe the character traits of the character in a text. One challenge that learners experience in my class, for example, is not being able to use adjectives. Some of them use nouns, and that came up here. While they were able to correctly use adjectives in the Luo here, they say jaratiro, jahera, jalur, adira, which are adjectives. When they provided English equivalents, I see the learner here wrote honesty, which is a noun, and if you were to characterize, they wouldn't score according to the rubrics. They wouldn't score because this is the use of a noun instead of an adjective. Here, the learner also got lovely, which is an adjective, yes, but it does not describe a personality. So if I marked this in the local language, this learner would score 4 out of 4. Here, they would score 2 out of 4. This shows that this learner knows what they're doing, but perhaps because of the difficulty or their limited proficiency in the English language, they sometimes can miss. So maybe restricting learners to using only English could affect the academic performance. So as much as English is quite critical in academic and professional growth, especially for global citizens, it is important that sometimes we integrate these local languages as learners learn to enrich their experiences. On this side, I had learners, another challenge that came, that some of them usually say what a character is not, instead of describing what a character is. And in English here, they are writing should not engage in corruption, but in the Luo, they got it right. So again, this would suffer the same fate as this, which is missing out, not because they don't know the content, but because they lack language to correctly put it. So we agreed that we would form some more glossary translations. We would use translations maybe where we provide those adjectives and translate to them in order to help them. So I would conclude by saying that given that I use this strategy with learners outside a formal school setup. It was a private arrangement. I would resistance because in the school setup, the administrators are there. They are the policy gatekeepers. They're supposed to ensure that the language policy is safeguarded. So how would they take it when they hear me in my classroom speaking mother tongue in an English class? I would wish to overcome that by being persistent and eventually providing proof of impact. If they're able to see that using other languages alongside English does not take away from the learner, but instead enriches their experience, then they may be able to just see the sense. So I intend to continue with this, pilot it and refine this approach and be able to collect feedback from learners through their written words, because the outcome that we expect is that they should be able to write their literary texts. They should be able to write literary essays in English. So I'm not advocating for them to write in English. We are just using these languages to enrich their learning experience, to enhance their comprehension and retention, but guide them to using English in the end, so that if this works, then we could share that success with colleagues, and it could just inspire broader adoption. I believe that small wins in the classroom would, in the end, even influence system change. So thank you very much for your attention. I welcome any questions or clarification.
Wow, awesome presentation, Jacqueline. Thank you so very much. Yes, we all have listened to you with rapt attention, and everyone is so excited about what you've shared. Very insightful, and everyone is saying they'll try to put this to work as well. So thank you so much for that very insightful and clear presentation, even giving us your experiences, your classroom experiences, sharing with us what you've done with your students. Very, very great work you have shared with us tonight. And I'm trying to check for questions in the chat. Okay, so I want to say lots of thanks to Jacqueline. I would like to know if there is a government policy in your country to enhance this teaching strategy.
Thank you.
Okay.
The government policy is teaching English, right? Except if it is Swahili. But I'm looking, remember my context is rural. I'm looking, I did say that I'm looking for ways to adapt to ensure that I achieve my end, even though now I'm not antagonizing the government policy, but I'm just trying to enrich my learners. Like, I assess my situation and see what is the dominant, because I'm very sensitive not to exclude any learner. Understand the Luo, then there is Swahili, which is common. Then I can use that. And Kiswahili is allowed. It is a national language, though it is not permitted as a medium of instruction. But I'm looking at this, that if I can use it as a strategy to enhance my learning, not just to maybe push for policy change as an individual, but maybe if I use it, and given my autonomy in the classroom, I have my space with my learners, so I can use my autonomy to see what works. If this does not take anything away from the learners, then I could defend it and say that it enhances the overall experience of my learners, and then I could just go ahead and use it. So the government policy at the moment is, especially at the secondary level, is to instruct learners in English.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, I'll take one more question from Dr. Amen. Yes, sorry, I missed that earlier. So, Dr. Amen is asking, I wonder if you capitalize on this. So you raise your, sorry, I remember to say that on the beginning. It says, great work, Jacqueline. Swahili itself is a multilingual language, that is Arabic, Bantu, English, Feni, Trini, etc. I wonder if you capitalize on this so you raise your students' awareness and help them with motivation to invest more in multilingual practices. Please pardon me if I mispronounced anything, but I hope you got that right.
Yeah. Okay. It says if I capitalize on Swahili itself being multilingual, I didn't get the question right. I don't
Okay.
know what's
If
the question.
Dr.
Maybe
Amen is here, I will appreciate if he can just unmute his mic and
sure.
please ask the question if you can, please.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you, Blessing. And thank you, Jacqueline, for a great presentation. I think you got it right. Yeah, my question was about Kiswahili itself and the nature of the language that it
Mm.
borrows from other languages. So it's multilingual itself.
Okay.
So maybe the students' awareness could be raised about this fact because the research showed that this helps with motivation to invest more in multilingual practices. And I was just wondering if you actually invest in this and raise your students' awareness about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I could continue to look at it from more deeper from that angle. I didn't particularly look at Kiswahili in itself being multilingual because um, I believe in our country we have like the Swahili, the coastal people, the regional variations of Swahili, but at the end of the day, there is that common that unifies us as a country being national language. But I could delve deeper and look at it in itself as a multilingual language and raise the students' awareness as you suggest.
Amazing. Yes, I hope Jacqueline answered that question. And yes, thank you. This is such, a very critical topic. Everyone would agree. And thank you for doing justice to this topic, which is very, very relevant to our African context. Thank you very much for that beautiful presentation. All right, thank you, everyone. You've been with us for this long, but we just have one more presentation to wrap this up for today. This is still the day 2 of the Africa ELTA Female Leadership Mentoring Program. And I would like to introduce our last speaker for tonight. I won't be introducing her, but I will be handing over to her mentor, Rashida Sadiq. Yes, who is going to be introducing Elizabeth and Tembe to us to give our presentation. So over to you, Rashida Sadiq. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's really been interesting, and I believe we're going to enjoy the last one. So I'm really excited to introduce my mentee, Elizabeth Tembe Bernard. She's a true Pan-African. She's originally from Cameroon, but she resides and works in Liberia. And currently, she's actually in Nigeria, and she's now my in-law because one of her sisters married a Nigerian. She originally studied business administration, but she is a certified teacher as she has a lot of certifications in things like teaching aids, teacher leadership, and advanced child psychology. She owns a school and she's passionate about young learners and primary education. She combines educational expertise and leadership to nurture and empower young minds for the future. So I'd like you to help me welcome Elizabeth.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you,
Yes,
Dr. Rashida, for the presentation. Good evening, everyone. Samira, Africa ELTA. Good evening or greetings from wherever you are. You are participating in this presentation. So I'm about to share my screen now. Please, if you're seeing my screen, let me know. Is it okay?
No, we can't see it yet.
Share screen. Sorry, I'm wondering why.
Amira, if you can make Elizabeth a co-host, I don't know if she's a co-host, so she can share her screen.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Is it good now?
No, we can't see your screen yet.
I wonder why.
Have you clicked on share screen?
Yeah.
Have you opened your PowerPoint?
Opened. My PowerPoint is opened. No. Okay, let me share screen. Is it okay now?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We'll go on. My topic is peer tutoring a strategy for supporting language development. As my mentor earlier said, I'm Elizabeth Temba Bernard, and I'm so thrilled to present this topic one more time after the first. So I will just go ahead to start with this slide, which is the section overview. And this slide outlines the presentation out.
Elizabeth, your screen seems to be frozen. Okay. Okay, so I think we lost Elizabeth there. Let's just give her a few seconds to join in again. Okay, while waiting for Elizabeth, Rashida Sadiq, you are a very respected person that we all know, and we are so grateful. to have you with us here. Rashida, um, if you could just say something about your experience so far mentoring Elizabeth on this topic, what would you like to tell us, Rashida? I'm always happy to hear Rashida speak. I see her as a mentor too. I learn a lot from her. Yeah, over to you, Rashida. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was actually trying to see if I could get in touch with her, but I'd like to say that this has also been a great learning experience for me. It's my first time being a mentor in this capacity. I have mentored teachers in the past, as per classroom techniques and pedagogy, but it's my first time mentoring for proposal writing and things like that. I also have taught public speaking, but it's really interesting that I got to learn a bit about her interests. I got to learn about someone from a different country, and I found out many things about how we're able to relate on a personal level. Elizabeth is someone that is very, very motivated. I enjoyed working with her because she was really a driving force. It's not easy when you're a mentor and you have to pull whoever you're mentoring, but Elizabeth was a force for me, and she helped me, and we were able to work really well together to come up with her presentation. And she worked really hard and was very eager to learn, and I loved that. And I just love the fact that while she was presenting, I also learned new things, and we did some collaboration on research and things like that. It was really an interesting process. I'm grateful to Africa ELTA for the opportunity, and it amazes me how we keep learning in new ways from being a member of the association, and how we keep connecting with different people. Thank you, Blessing. So I just want to try to give her a call. Maybe you can give me some time to do that.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing such beautiful insights about your mentorship with Elizabeth so far. Very inspiring. You know, sometimes we mentors, mentees come in and they think, oh, we just want to learn and learn, but they don't realize that we end up learning from them. Sometimes we even learn more from them than they learn from us. Yeah, so that's a very beautiful experience. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so we give some more seconds to see if Elizabeth will be joining us again. Thank you for waiting. Yeah. And while waiting, you can please share your takeaways in the chat. What have you learned today? Yes. What new strategy will you be going back to your classrooms with or to try in your own country? Because we've learned from different contexts, So you can please keep the chat buzzing. Yes. And we hope Elizabeth will join us soon. Thank you. And thank you for your comments. Someone says this is one of the best programs in Africa ELTA and for teachers globally. Thank you, Geraldine, for that very, very lovely comments. Very inspiring and motivating. Thank you so much. And thank you, dear colleagues, teachers, mentors, for also creating the time to be here. So many other things could have taken your attention, but thank you and for staying this long. Thank you. Yes, Amira has shared the link to the January 16th final presentations. That will be day 3 of our presentation. And please don't miss it. Yes, don't miss it for anything. Yes, it's going to be the day 3 and the final presentation for this set of female mentees. So we encourage you all to be available on 16th January, and that should be Thursday. So we hope you all will join again. Yes, Wendy says, I agree that the mentors learn just as much. It's so lovely to see my past mentees from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I can relate with that. Yes. Joseph says, Africa ELTA is developing global citizens. Yes, we all agree to that. If you were in Egypt, yeah, in 2024, you would realize that Africa ELTA is indeed raising global citizens, and we look forward to Tanzania 2025. So, if your proposals have been accepted, congratulations to you. It's time to start getting ready for your flight, packing your bags, getting your slides ready, and off we go to Tanzania and hope to see you all there. Okay, at this point, I think Amira, I'm thinking that we might have to move her presentation to Thursday, if you will permit. Elizabeth is not able to join us today, Amira. Can we please move her presentation to Thursday?
Yes, I think we can do that. We don't have other options. Although on Thursday we have a long schedule already, so we are planning to stay for 3 hours maybe.
Ooh. Oh, we can do it. Resilience. We can
Resilience,
do
yes.
it.
We need
Yeah.
Mariam to teach us about resilience here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we've just been really inspired to be resilient. So let's just plan towards it to have a longer time. Oh, I see
I see
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth is here. Okay, she will save
Okay.
us.
Okay. Save us from
Okay.
Thursday. All right. Okay, welcome back, Elizabeth. Please, without wasting much time, please go ahead and share your slide. We've been waiting for you. Please turn on your video if you can, or please say something, Elizabeth, if you're here,
Yeah, thank
if you
you
can
for
hear.
waiting for me. The network completely dropped, and now I'm using my sister-in-law's hotspot.
Sorry
So
about
I'm
that. You're
just
welcome
sharing my
back.
screen. Ah, yeah. Thank you. Okay, am I good?
Please share your screen. We can't see your screen yet.
Oh. Is it okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, as I was earlier saying, sorry for this inconvenience. I didn't see that coming, the network trip. So my topic for today is peer tutoring, a strategy for supporting language development. And I'll be quick. Well, I'll go straight to session overview. And in this slide, we are going to outline the presentation overview, which is definition of concepts, benefits of peer tutoring, step-by-step implementation of peer tutoring, challenges and solutions, questions and answers. My next slide, would anyone like to share in the chat box which of these definitions is your best? If this A, you just write the A. If this B, just write B. If this C, just write C, as to what you think peer tutoring would be. Benefits of peer tutoring after the definitions, you come to realize that there are many benefits of peer tutoring, like helping students to build confidence, especially for the tutor. Students are able to enhance their social skills and improve their attitude towards school, improve students' academic personalities and performances. Students who are involved with peer tutoring can also develop collaboration and teamwork skills, which can be useful in the classroom. So these are some few benefits of peer tutoring. So now we'll go to the step to implement peer tutoring, and then we have a code there. And at the end of the code, it talks about mutual, and in the beginning of the code, it talks about a culture of respect. So I would like to stress a little before going into the step-by-step implementation. I would like to stress on the word mutual, which refers to the reciprocal nature of the learning process, where students take turns teaching and learning from each other, and the respect, the culture of respect, which is in peer tutoring, which is the act of treating others with considerations and accepting them as equals. And with this, it helps to create a positive learning environment where students feel valued, heard, and supported. So with this, we are going to go in the first step of peer tutoring, which is students grouping. And in this first step, we have tutoring is like in as in student grouping. During this step, we identify potential tutors and tutees based on their ability and skills. Based on their ability and skills, then to make sure to have limited group members, like 3 to 4. One of the steps too is to pair students who can benefit from each other's strengths and weaknesses. The teacher also can use various criteria to match students, such as academic performances, learning styles, interests, goals, and personality types, to be able to group students at this stage in order to have a perfect grouping. So as you can see in the image, we're talking here about systematic instructions. And under systematic instructions, where we have goal setting, the kind of group to put on, the tutors and the tutees, the one-on-one, we can use different models of peer tutoring, such as reciprocal, cross age, same age, to assign roles and responsibilities. You can also provide guidelines and rubrics to checklists to help students understand what they are expected to do and how they will be assessed. So also we can monitor and support students throughout the process and provide feedback and recognition. So on the image, this is me teaching with a cue card, which helps to stress and show more and proof on what the teacher is teaching. The kind of learners, it touches every learners, those that learn by seeing, those that learn by action, and all kinds of learners are involved when using the cue cards method. Also, in this stage, we're using the model correction, where the teacher has to monitor the tutor and the tutee until the end of the class or the session of peer tutoring. So with this, we are going to go to monitoring and evaluation. Under monitoring and evaluation, learning activities according to the students' needs and preferences. We can use different types of context, such as videos, images, and games, to monitor and to get results. What the teachers should observe, as I earlier said, from the beginning to the end. That is, we don't leave the children or the pupils on their own. We monitor to make sure that the goals that were set, the targeted objectives, were met by the students during the session. So we get constructive feedback from them. So also we can use methods such as journals, surveys, and portfolios to track progress we're going to the 4 to track progress and provide constructive feedback. We can use I'm sorry, feedbacks from previous sessions of peer tutoring that may have been carried before every other one, so we can track that progress and give encouragements and kind words to the students that are carrying up this session of peer tutoring. So with this, we also have challenges of peer in as much as we all find it interesting that a student, we see how students live from one level of confidence to another, we still have challenges in that even though we have given them the resources that they need in teaching, and to make a clear point, peer tutoring sessions are not new. I want to emphasize that the topics that are taught during these sessions are not new topics. These are topics that have been taught already in classrooms. So it's just to highlight them during the peer tutoring sessions where the students that maybe is higher in quality or has the best skills in that topic and understanding will take the lead as a tutor. And also I would like to emphasize that in peer tutoring, tutors are to be rotating. So we are not going to have one tutor all along the school year or a school term. So the tutors may be rotating per subject, per topics, and so on. So yeah, when we look at all of this, when we come to challenges, we come to notice that some students don't feel comfortable being tutees after being tutors. Some students are not able to manage time during the peer tutoring sessions, given that time is allocated for each one of them, and that objectives are to be met during the session. So we find out that the challenges after doing this in our classroom, the challenges that they face, they are not meeting up time, they are not meeting up targets, the resources that are given to them are misused and then not kept properly. Then sometimes they don't take responsibilities because it is their peers, so they find it easy to play, not to take their responsibilities serious. So these are the few challenges that we face here. So when it comes to solution, we ensure effective peer tutoring. It is important to maintain equity and fairness by rotating roles, as I earlier said, and using transparent mission criteria. So we structure the training and provide along clear guidelines to all the tutors and the tutees, and well-prepared study materials which are being distributed to the students in advance. So students also need to be comfortable in rotation, so effectively by the peer, those playing the tutor role and those playing the tutee roles. So we train them to accept the roles when it comes to rotating. Then training on handling the materials and how to store them also is necessary to have these students trained on these various solutions. Teachers also should actively monitor the process, offering targeted support to peer tutors while ensuring access to teaching materials and resources. And lastly, diagnostic assessments and automated tools are efficiently a form of equitable peers based on skill levels. And some of these diagnostic assessment could be pre-test giving out to the tutors and the tutees to make sure that all these guidelines which have been placed and they have been trained on, we are sure that they can put them in practice. We can give them surveys and questionnaires. Also, the learning management system system is one of the way to ensure that these solutions can be upheld. Then for the automated tools, we will have the AI-based tools or peer matching apps. In conclusion, we just want to conclude by saying that peer tutoring is a powerful method of fostering language development through meaningful collaborative interactions. It allows learners to practice language skills which with peers who model correct usage of and provide constructive feedback. This approach creates a supportive environment where students can build confidence and refine their abilities. By engaging in active dialogue, learners develop communication skills essentials for language mastery. So this is where we have our conclusions.
Wow,
Thank you
excellent.
for listening, and we
Thank
open
you.
for questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for the great work um, that you've done, putting these beautiful slides together and sharing all these wonderful suggestions to us. Okay, looking at the chat, I really can't find a question, but there's a question on my mind, listening to you. If you could just share to us maybe an activity that you've carried out with your students, and you tried out this pair tutoring strategy, and just tell us how it went. What feedback can you give from that strategy, in your own classroom?
Okay, I am trying to go back. I had I had a image where I was I tried the peer tutoring program in my classroom. Normally, the group of students were three in the classroom, and that was they were learning words, that's language words, and how to use these words. So I don't know why I'm not able to go back. So
Okay.
in the classroom, there are some students that are very shy, there are some that they know the answers, but they don't want to talk in a large group of people. But we noticed that when we separated them in a group of 3 and 4, those students that are mostly quiet in the classroom tend to speak out when they are just in their peer with their peers. So they do ask questions, they do even spell some things that they will not even answer in the classroom when they are called to talk out. So it has been effective um, in the class during the peer tutoring sessions. It has been because they tend to engage more than when they are in a larger classroom.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for sharing these great ideas. So, for all the teachers here, you would agree with Elizabeth that you shouldn't just be the only one teaching. Sometimes they can also learn from their peers. So great strategies and ideas, and we are also going to commend you. Yeah, very impressive presentation. Despite your initial challenges, you came calm and you were able to still deliver your presentation clearly. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wonderful work.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes,
Blessing.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so this is where we draw the curtain tonight. And I really want to appreciate every one of us who have joined us tonight. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for your resilience. Keep using that word because we learned about resilience today from one of our presenters. Yes, thank you. And we hope to see you again on Thursday, 16th January, for the day 3 and the final lap of these presentation for the set. So thank you, everyone. It's been great being here with you. Have a beautiful evening or a beautiful night or a beautiful morning, depends on wherever you are in the world. Thank you and goodbye. Bye for now. See you on Thursday.
Thank you, Blessing. Bye.
Yo.
Yes, see you.